This is one of the best players I've ever seen in person. LeBron and Giannis are the two best players I've seen in person this century, which made me want to make my list of who are the best players I've seen this century. So basically, everyone after MJ retires, what's my actual list? And the caveat had to be, I'm using like the wine bottle approach of I have to pick the specific year for the player. And then I had to see them in person for that year. So one casualty is 2001 Kobe, because I was still living in Boston that year. They only played here once and he skipped the game. So I never got to see him that year during that when they were just awesome. Got to see him in 2002. I never really saw the right awesome Kobe game until 2006, which is why 2006 Kobe makes this list. But the caveat is this. Was there something memorable about the experience? Was there an overpoweringness to them? I don't know if that's a word. Was I catching them at the peak of their powers? Was there some sort of confidence that not only they had, but it actually like was able to transfer to their teammates? I think MJ is the best example of this ever. If you were on MJ's team, you just felt like you had a chance to win, period. MJ's on my team. This three's going in. I got MJ on my team. That's what Giannis had last night with these guys on his team. Connaughton, Portis. He's bringing out the best versions of those guys, not because he's like, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, like he's like actually like throwing them great passes and knowing where to get them the ball, stuff like that. Although there's a small piece of that with Giannis, but he's so good. It gives the other dudes confidence that they're good. I'm on Giannis's team. Of course, this three's going in. That's the level he's gotten to. So I have 3 levels for the best players I've seen in person. I'm going to pick 12 overall. The 2 that stand out, and we're talking really since MJ retired, 2018 LeBron and 2022 Giannis. 2018 LeBron played the single best game I've ever seen in person. Game 1 of the 2018 finals, which became immortalized as the J.R. Smith game. I'm not positive, by the way, that the Cavs still would have won that game, but LeBron, I think he finished with 51, completely overpowered the Warriors, which was a great Warriors team. A Warriors team that had Durant in his peak, Curry in his prime, Draymond, Clay, and it was the only other like elite guy in the Cavs was LeBron. And he went toe-to-toe with them and probably should have beaten them. But that at that point in 2018, he had figured out, he was just bigger. Like he had put on muscle. He had figured out this power point guard game, basically, that nobody knew what to do with. He ran through the Celtics in the previous series and then did the same thing at game 1 with the Warriors. But I can't put anybody above him. I can put Giannis right next to him, though. And I know that's a crazy thing to say because LeBron is either the second or the third best player of all time. If you want to have him first, you want to say like his career was the best basketball career ever, fine. I still have MJ first. Giannis is side by side with him from a peak performance standpoint because what you're getting with Giannis, first of all, evolutionary Shaq. The difference between him and Shaq, same overpowering, you can't stop them. He can bulldoze over you. There's no way to defend him. The refs don't know how to call him. He has all that stuff around the basket. He also has a really nice 15-footer now that he makes. I saw some stat that his mid-range jumper this year was at the same level as like LaMarcus Aldridge for his career. And then he has the thing where he can go 30 feet from the basket. They spread the floor for him. And he can just beat you left or right, bounce off you, get fouled, do whatever he has to do, and it somehow works. And you watch over and over again in this series, Al Horford, who was being shuttled in and out, almost like a hockey defenseman trying to match up against the number 1 scoring line. He's going in and out against Giannis, but they would have these moments where Al's basically between the foul and the top of the key. He's crouched, almost like a catcher in baseball. And there's Giannis who's dribbling and he's like, I'm going to kind of go straight. I'm going to bounce off you. I'm going to kind of commit a charge, but not quite enough that they're going to be able to call it. I'm so strong, you're going to go backwards. And it's going to eventually end up with my Freddy Krueger arms. I'm going to duck under you and do a scoop layup, or I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to dunk over you, or I'm going to pull up. There's no way to know how to stop it. And you just kind of have to hope he misses. And that's why LeBron and Giannis, to me, since MJ, are the two guys where you're just completely helpless. Shaq had some of that too, and we're going to get to that in a second. But with LeBron and Giannis, 2018 LeBron, 2022 Giannis, your best chance is I hope that misses. Or I hope we foul him and he misses some of the free throws. I don't really know what else to do. The Celtics and Bucks could play 100 games. And if there were real stakes for any of those games, he's getting between 35 and 45 points. That's just what's going to happen. And you're going to have to tilt your whole defense toward him. Hope you're not going to get in foul trouble. You're going to have to either give up threes or just let Giannis score 50. There's no way to know what to do. So you have that. Defensively, he's dominant. And this is the thing where he's a way better defensive player than LeBron was. I thought LeBron was in big moments, very good to even like borderline great defensive player in the 2018 range. 2012-13, LeBron was like up there with Pippen and Kawhi and all those guys. Like that was an incredible guy. We'll get to him in a second. Giannis can play center and protect the rim in a way that he's just in your head the whole time. And I will regret for the rest of my life not voting for him first team all defense. I feel so stupid, especially after last night. I did a good job with my ballot for the most part, but Giannis should just be first team all defense until he starts fading, which will be about 8 years from now. Physically, I think the four most imposing guys I've seen last 35 years, I'm going to say, is Shaq, obviously. David Robinson, underrated, 7'1", chiseled, just like a complete specimen, ridiculous. You just saw him, you're like, oh my God, we have to play that guy. 2018 LeBron and Embiid. Because Embiid he's a legitimate 7'2", and you feel it when you're in person. When you see Giannis in person, he's way taller than you expect. I don't know why you wouldn't expect him to seem gigantic, but in person, he's the tallest guy in the game. He's 7 feet. He's got these big shoulders. He's got muscular arms, but then he's got like extra muscles on outside of your shoulder. Those are sticking out, and he's got perfect posture, and he's just walking around like the Terminator. And you're thinking, my God, we got to play this guy? We got to go through this guy? So he's got that, carries himself like the Terminator, got the blank face. He'll stick out his lower jaw sometimes, but for the most part, really hard to know what he's thinking. He's just very locked in. He had the blood dripping from his side of his eye yesterday. It didn't matter. I mentioned that he's the all-time how do we stop this guy, which there have been other all-time how do we stop this guys, but he's got to be, whatever your short list is, he's got to be on it. Unbelievably strong, unbelievably coordinated. I don't know how you ref him. There was a play yesterday that is one of the greatest shots I've ever seen in person that I went and looked at on TV and it didn't look as good, but I think I had an awesome angle on it. He's going right. Horford really bumps him like off his feet, and he's falling out of bounds and still manages to twist around and do the Doc 1980s finger roll underneath the basket. It was insane. And with Giannis, he just does shit like that 3 to 4 times a game. Ludicrous. Just ludicrous. Like absolutely ludicrous. And then I watched it on TV and it just looks like another Giannis move. In person, jaw fell to the ground. He's sneaky dirty. And I mean that as a compliment. There's been sneaky dirty guys over the years. Like John Stockton was a great sneaky dirty guy. Like would always set these picks and send little elbows in people's groins or stick his leg out. Jordan was a good sneaky dirty guy. There's good sneaky dirt. Wade was not even a sneaky dirty guy. He was whatever the level is above that. But Giannis, there's a play yesterday, Celtics in the fourth quarter. It was right before, you remember, he sets that hard pick on Marcus Smart with like 4 minutes left, and it's an offensive foul. And then the Bucks were complaining about it. The reason he got that foul was right before that play, the Celtics scored and Marcus was flying in for the rebound. And Giannis just sneaky shoved him from behind, and Marcus went flying. Marcus is going back up the court and he's pointing at Giannis angrily. I thought they were going to get a fight. And then he went and set the pick, and Giannis was mad that Smart was pointing at him. And that's why he gave him the elbow. But he does that stuff every. The funny thing with Giannis is he'll go over to the people after the timeout and like put their arm around him and be the good guy. But the Celtics know, like, yeah, we know you're a sneaky dirty guy. You're not. No, get your arm away from me, because he tried to put his arm around Smart after, and Smart was basically like, "Fuck you, dude." So I love that about Giannis. I think he's such a nice guy. His interviews are so nice. He's nice. Everything about him's nice. And he knows how to play that in a basketball game. He's just as cutthroat as anybody else who's been really good at basketball. I'm just telling you. So anyway, I have 2018 LeBron and 2022 Giannis. Teeny drop off. 2000 Shaq, no question. Same kind of, how do we stop this? How do you referee this? All that stuff. There was some stuff with him in the last 4 minutes of a game, though, where you did feel like if it was a close game, you could foul him or you could put him on the line, or maybe he was afraid to get fouled around the basket because he didn't want to go to the free throw line. So there was always that little asterisk with him, with Giannis, even though he's not the greatest free throw either. He's never afraid to go there. 2000 Duncan. Now, I even looked at his game log to see if I ever saw Duncan in 2003. I don't think I did. So I moved to LA that year. I don't think I went to a Spurs-Laker game. I was working for Jimmy Kimmel's show, and I just don't think I saw him in 03, but I did see him in 2000. I remembered this, and I looked it up, and it confirmed. He came in his 2000 season, and he demolished the Celtics by himself. And I still remember being there for that 22 years later. So just to get Duncan on there, I'm giving 2000 Duncan, but 2003 Duncan would have been the one to see. 2006 Kobe was the year to see Kobe. Now, I know some people would say 2001 because he had more of a spring to him, but 2006, he'd put everything together. I voted for him for MVP that year, even though I didn't have a vote. That would be my Kobe season. I did get to see him in person multiple times that year, including the Phoenix game when he had the buzzer beater. Amazing. 2012 LeBron. I'm putting LeBron on twice because I feel like there's two LeBrons. There's like pre-second Cleveland trip LeBron, and then there's 2014 on LeBron. All right, so I have 2018 LeBron, 2022 Giannis. Slight drop, 2000 Shaq, 2000 Duncan, 2006 Kobe, 2012 LeBron. And I got to go to a bunch of those LeBron games, including the Game 6 Boston, so I vividly remember that. Then my last six, 2017 Durant, 2016 Curry, 2009 Wade, 2011 Dirk, 2007 Nash, and 2002 Kidd. Jason Kidd was the lost, holy shit, that guy is a good guy from the last 20 plus years. And it was that Celtics Nets series that played him twice in a row, but the 2002 series was close. And Kidd not only was the best point guard in the league and, just smartest guy and always had the rhythm of the game down and always knew when to attack, when his team really needed him to just go barreling in the paint, create a shot. But defensively, he was doing stuff that year that I actually think they had to change the block charge rules. He was so good at just running to a spot and just stopping on a dime like he had been frozen. So once he figured that out, he could demolish you on both ends. He was really tough. He always had a knack of going like 0 for 8 from 3, but then he would make the biggest 3 of the game. So I have to have him on there. Nash 07 is the best I've seen anyone play point guard from an offensive standpoint, at least in person. That was the year after his MVP year, and I did get to see him in person that year. 2011 Dirk, that was awesome. I went to the finals that year against Miami. 2009 Wade, that was the great Wade year where he did the closest Michael Jordan impression anyone's ever done. And then 16 Curry and 17 Durant. So my big news flash here, I actually think we're underestimating how good Giannis is. That we were arguing about, is it Giannis 1A, KD 1B? That was a month ago. Good Lord.